Aaron. Let's give her another round of applause, y'all.
Some of you may know me, and some of you may not. But let me tell you a little bit about myself.
Welcome to our families, guests, siblings, children, and especially our special graduates. All right, so let's give them all a big hand. Congratulations in advance on completing what is not an easy program. When sometimes you don't have any gas, sometimes you don't have any lunch, sometimes you don't have any food, sometimes you don't have clothes to wear, and sometimes you can get to school and sometimes you can't. So it's very difficult to complete the program as we have it at Omnitech. If I had my way, I'd make it easier for you. But it's the best that we can do to make it easier in terms of the schedule, because we know it's demanding when you work and you have family and you have children. I don't tell you how hard it is when you're going through it, because it might, soften you up a little bit, but you guys did awesome to complete this program. And you all remember that when you started, to your left and to your right, you had more people, right? So you're like the cream of the crop. You're the top 20, 25, 30%. You have achieved something that is beautiful, and that is in the state of Georgia. You have to know, many people decide not to go to trade schools like Omnitech. They decide to go to colleges and universities because they want to get the Hope Scholarship. Do you know what happens with the Hope Scholarship? Okay, let me tell you. When a minority or a black person gets the Hope Scholarship, 97% of them can't keep the 3.0 and they lose it. 97%. So over 60% never graduate. And then they're stuck with a loan and can't get a job, with or without a degree. So I congratulate the families who supported these students, who had the courage to come to this black-owned institution and to see the value of the education, and now to hopefully, in every way possible, to take it to a whole nother level. So that's what this program is about. This program is about acknowledging the success and the completion of a target and of a goal, and also it is a springboard for your future, because we have many, many graduates, thousands that are out there, and we want to have a lifetime relationship with you. And we're going to start that by actually allowing one of our former students and graduates to speak to you today before we have our special guest speaker. Oh. Okay. Moving right along. Someone's having some emergencies. The special guest graduate we had, well, at least I'll talk about it. Maybe he'll walk in, but apparently he's having some emergencies this morning. We were going to introduce Mr. Ware. Don't worry, no letdown. We have a super special guest speaker here. But Mr. Ware is a 2004 graduate. He started in poverty in Albany, Georgia. He graduated from high school and went on to earn his BA from Fort Valley State University, but could not get a job. That's not in there. Don't put that in there. Octarius was an exemplary student. I was teaching him. He was an awesome student. Later became one of Omnitech's best IT instructors. For years, he taught on the staff. Later became one of Omnitech's, specializing in Cisco and Linux courses. After teaching for Omnitech for years, his career began to grow incredibly, so much so that he was unable to continue teaching. However, he's always available to share some motivating and inspiring words, except for this morning. He's not available for some reason. We can't reach him. So we're going to talk about him. And he's always encouraging. But Mr. Ware, he doesn't tell people this, but is he here? Mr. Ware, you here? Are you hiding out? He's stuck in traffic. Oh, he might have a moment to say a few words. I'll tell you what he makes before he comes. He makes over $500,000 a year. He's CCIE certified. When he left Omnitech, he had 2 certifications. I don't know how many he has now. It's probably in the teens or the 20s. but he's a phenomenal person. He's always studying and always willing to give back and come back and encourage our students to pursue the same dreams and the same accomplishments that he does. He has his own IT company on the side where he makes tens of thousands of dollars per month. And he also has a full-time job being a senior national cybersecurity and IT director for Napa Auto Parts Corporate. And he gets, 1 to 2 new job offers a week. He hasn't had to look for a job pretty much since he left Omnitech. So, is that him? Nope. Okay, he's not here. We're gonna move on. If Mr. Ware shows up, at least you all know about him. And he was gonna come to honor you, but he's running into some complications apparently, with car trouble, or traffic, or something. So, so we will move on to a special, very special guest speaker. And to honor our graduates today, every year, at least once a year for the last 19 years, I make it a special effort to try to bring in someone really special. And our special guest speaker is a very unique person. And some of you know of him outside of Omnitech, and you've heard of him. I first heard of him, he was on BET television. And I thought he was a phenomenal person. This was back when, BET made sense, Anybody remember that? Yeah. Okay. But they had intelligent talk shows on Sunday morning. And Dr. Anderson was on there eating somebody's lunch, breakfast, dinner, and dessert. I won't say the name, but I said, this man sounds incredible. I got to follow him. He seems to have answers to the solutions, to the problems. So I looked Dr. Anderson up, and I started traveling, actually, to listen to him wherever he spoke. And he spotted me, I think, second time or third time in the audience. And I said, what are you doing following me around? Come over here to my table. So since that day, we've had a really good friendship, and he's become a member of our advisory board. But let me tell you a little bit about his official background. I think he has value because he's been all of the things that many of our students want to be. He's excelled in his career. He's been successful in business, politics. He's had several best-selling books. He's a member of the White House. Well, let me just read you his bio here, and then we'll add to it. Dr. Claude Anderson, president and founder of the Harvest Institute, also of Powernomics Corporation as well. Dr. Anderson is a noted author, businessman, educator, political strategist, former Assistant Secretary of President to Jimmy Carter in the U.S. Department of Commerce, former Special Assistant to the 1988 Democratic Convention, and social reformer. He is widely recognized as one of America's most influential intellectuals and authors, not just here in America, but around the world. He travels the world. He was featured on the continent of Africa on the National Continent's newspaper on the front cover as a man with a plan to come and help turn Africa around. He's spoken South America, throughout the Caribbean, around the world. His institute is a nonprofit, tax-exempt, nationally recognized black think tank that works to help Black America become self-sufficient and a competitive group of people. Dr. Anderson popularized Black history, which is also known by many colleges and universities as American history only, with his book, which is used in colleges and universities all around the world, not just HBCUs. Black Labor, White Wealth, a search for the power and economic justice that serves as the foundation for the programs, policies, and research of the Harvest Institute. Another book entitled Powernomics, the National Plan to Empower Black America, has been adopted by the Institute as a blueprint for all of its activities. The word Powernomics represents a social, political, economic package of principles and strategies developed by Dr. Anderson to make Black America a more self-sufficient and competitive group. He sets forth an 8-year national plan in education, economics, and politics, and outlines a new role in education, economics, politics, and outlines a new role for Black religious organizations. Redevelopment and industrialization of Black communities is a key Powernomics strategy. Other books include Dirty Little Secrets 1 and 2 about Black history and its heroes and other troublemakers. Dr. Anderson's ideas in the work of the Harvest Institute have been begun to ignite a national movement of reform. The principles of Dr. Anderson, principles that he has espoused, have become the foundation for the mission and the principles formed by Omnitech Institute. I believe it's chapter 4 of the Powernomics book. Well, we have a special opportunity to hear from him because he actually was booked. He was doing a Powernomics educational seminar in Dallas, Texas, right? Dallas. Him and his son, Brent joined him. And, but the seminar was supposed to go all day today. So we pulled and we tugged and we forced and we paid a few people off. No, I'm just kidding. And we got Dr. Anderson to come. So he got up at 4 in the morning after teaching all day yesterday. You see, he just passed 41 years old, so, you know, this might be a little challenging for him. So he got up at 4 this morning, caught a flight, and we literally barely made it here at 1 o'clock after getting him from the airport to the hotel in here. So he's a little tired, but I'm honored to give our graduates this treat. But some of you have never met him, but you've heard me quote, talk about him, refer to the books all the time, and to use them as principles of success. All people everywhere, all races, use his books because they are so wise and so effective and so powerful. So without any further ado, I want to introduce you to my best friend, a good friend, a man who's been like a father to me, Mr. Dr. Claude Anderson.
For that very nice introduction, although I'm a little curious as to why you made them think I was your father. That much of a difference in age, but I still appreciate coming here. As he indicated to you, running this, and whenever he said I'm giving a speech, my speeches run 8 hours. And then they get a half an hour for breaking during the 8-hour period. So from Chicago to St. Louis to Dallas, Texas, here, and my preacher's speeches start like about 8:30 in the morning and run into 4:30, 5 o'clock that evening. And they get a break for lunch and that's it. Because right now I'm conducting a tour around America, and they're trying to reorient, deprogram black folk across America, and also to begin to suggest strategies of how they can become a competitive people and begin to survive in the society. And so this morning, this afternoon, my first responsibility is to do what's typically done by a person who's been selected to be a speaker for graduation. That is to recognize the graduates. I recognize you, and I appreciate the things that you've done and achieved, and I wish you well around this country and around across the nation and around the world if you ever get that far along. But I also want to recognize all the parents, friends of these graduates that are here today. And one of my primary responsibilities as a speaker for you is typically carried out in the way of saying, to congratulate you on what you've achieved. But more importantly, a speaker also has another obligation. That is also not only wish you well and congratulate you, but also to give you some background information what's happening ahead of you. And so this morning or this afternoon, I don't just want to congratulate you for graduating. I want to let you know that you're not graduating from something, you're graduating into something. And my responsibility is to bring you up to date on where you are in this country and in this world. And you're graduating into what I call a dog-eat-dog period. Things are going to be all wonderful for you just because you're graduating. You're graduating at a time when this country is more disturbed than it's ever been in all my lifetime. Everything is in flux. Everything's upside down. And right now in Washington, D.C., where my base is, since I left the President of the United States for Jimmy Carter and was being a secretary and like that, and being over education for the entire state of Florida for 8 years, I've learned you got problems in the society. So don't think just because you're graduating it's going to be easy for you. It's going to be tough. But I'm going to try to tell you how to survive it. And so right now, if you look across this country, you got Trump sitting in the office of the President of the United States. He came there swearing and proclaiming that he's going to clean up and drain the swamp. And what he's done is create a mud hole up there right now. Everything is in flux. Nobody knows what's going on. Across this nation, when I was over education for the state of Florida under Governor Ruben Askew, education was very simple, very simple. You come to school, you learn how to read and write, go out and get a job, work there in that job for about 30 years. It's not like that anymore. Now across this nation, the schools are in flux. Social integration has failed. You might as well understand it. Failed, and civil rights has failed. So blacks, you got a major confrontation coming up because the entire society is going through a transformation, trying to figure out what are we going to do in the society. And when you move out there, you got to be prepared to deal with it and handle it. And I congratulate you because you made one of the best decisions of your life for coming to this school at this particular time and major in technology and in computerized systems. That gives you an edge on most right now in the world and in the society. Because back in 1997, one of the things we found out through our research in 1997, that of all the people that were working in this country in 1997, in about another 6 years, only 25% of them are going to have jobs. That means that almost 75% of the people who are working in 1997 will be unemployed, and probably forever. The jobs are disappearing because computerized systems are displacing them, and you're going to be a part of that system. You're going to be working, trying to create new opportunities and make life easier for people, but at the same time, you're going to be sitting beside people who are going to be trying to put you out of business and take away your job. They're going to create machines, robots, artificial intelligence. They're going to take you out of the loop. You got to be prepared to deal with it. Now, as blacks, you got a very special problem, because you see, right now in this country, black folk are an official underclass. You have no leadership. All the black leadership has abandoned you. Don't depend on these civil rights leaders to do anything for you. They're not going to do it. They cease and desist in doing anything for black folk in the 1970s. When I'm sitting in the White House, that time they came out with this special policy, which is called political correctness. Political correctness means make anything black disappear and invisible. Make sure that you're not accounted for and you're not included. But what I want you to know is that your blackness is your key, though. Your blackness is something special. Your blackness is your exceptionality. Don't ever let anybody make you abandon your blackness. I don't care how hard things get. You got to understand that your key to surviving on this earth and around the world is your blackness. And everybody needs to understand that. And everybody's room right now has some blackness in them. The first human beings on earth came out of Africa. There's nobody in this room that doesn't have any African heritage in them. All of them came out of it. But you got an intensified group of it inside your DNA, in your clusters, in your system. And you understand that in the entire universe, there's a specialness about blackness. And there's a double special if you go to a black school and learn about how to protect your people, how to empower your people, and become a competitive group in this nation, in a competitive society. That blackness is very important. If you go out into the universe, the most powerful thing in the universe, more powerful than the sun, you got what's called the black holes out there. The black holes is 1,000,000 times stronger than the sun that circles the earth every day. The most powerful thing in the universe is what we call the black holes. On this earth, the most powerful thing you can come in contact with is called black cloth. Black cloth is so powerful. As blackness, it can pull light into it and destroy light. Blackness is powerful. If you look at any food stuff on this earth, dark food is the strongest, best in healthcare. Is the darker the food is, the better it is for your health. If you buy paint, any kind, the black color hardens faster and stays longer than any other color. If I pick any color in the color spectrum, the strongest color is blackness. You all are special people, exceptional people. Don't let anybody make you walk away from your blackness. But you're going to see this entire country and the world going to try to move you away from your blackness by disparaging you, saying putting down blackness, and telling you blackness ain't worth a quarter. You all are special people. But to be special people, you got to go back and proclaim your blackness. I got people running around now that I know in politics and movie stars and other people. They always want to put down blackness. They don't want to be black. Some of them call themselves cannibalization, anything. They don't want to be black. And see, your blackness is your exception. They say, well, Dr. Anderson, well, what? Blackness is only a color. Blackness is not just a color. Blackness is your heritage. Your blackness is your history. Your blackness is your badge. Your blackness is your honor. Your blackness is your experience on this earth and in this nation. Nobody in this nation has been treated like you. You all are special people. You're not African American either. You're not minorities and poor folk and people of color. Neither are you an African American. Blacks in this country are native blacks. Native blacks give you a specialness. If you call yourself an African American, as an example, this country owes you nothing. They have never done anything to Africans, but they have mistreated black folk. You're the only people that came to this country with deculturized, stripped of everything, your religion, your history, your family, your unity. You were the only people denied the right to be a human being, called a field animal, equal to 3/5 of a human being. You were classified as property. You're the only people that could not vote, could not go to school, could not get an education, could not marry, could not vote. You are the oldest population in this nation, not the so-called Indians. Blacks in this country are the older people here. You're called the Folsom people came here in about 16,000 years ago from Africa. Now you got some Asians come across the Bering Straits about 5 or 6,000 years ago. And it came down to the Bering Straits into North America, to Canada, And down to the Southwest, they met the Folsom people and bred with them and created what they call American Indians. They are not American Indians. They're not Native Indians. The natives were the black Folsom people. That's why you got a Folsom, Arizona, Folsom, California, Folsom prison. They were the Folsom people. You all are special and exceptional people. But you got to proclaim your specialness. When you hear people like President Carter or Bush or Obama talks about we are an exceptional nation. They say we are an exceptional nation because we have a democracy, because we have a constitution, because we have open doors for immigrants. Yes, America is an exceptional nation, but inside that exceptional nation, there are some exceptional people. Those exceptional people are the black people in this country. You all are special and exceptional people. You go out in this world, remember that you're not guests in America. You walk on sacred ground paid for by the blood, sweat, and tears of millions of cotton pickers, janitors, and slaves who worked and died and suffered, and dishwashers who never got a chance to live or breathe or have children or raise a decent life for themselves. You all are special. And you need to walk away from this place today. You hold yourself high. Keep your eyes up. Don't you bow your head for being black. Nobody on this nation, earth, and nobody in the world are as special as you are. You're exceptional people. When I say you're the oldest people in this nation, that means that every one of you here are the direct descendants of slaves. If you're the direct descendants of slaves, that means you were here before 99% of all the other people have arrived in the United States. And when they start talking about if you don't like what's going on in America, you go back to Africa. You should follow the rules. Those who came last leave first. You were the first people here. And as you go out in this world in the politics, you hear people right now bragging and boasting about their being I'm conservative this, I'm conservative that. Conservatism was never an issue for you. They never did anything for you. Conservatism comes from the root word to conserve. To conserve means to hold on to what you got, or say those who haven't got ain't never going to get. That's what conservatism means. But you see them on the TV, the Fox channel, bragging all day about their conservatives. What they'll tell you to your face is they're stone racist. But now they don't have to be racist anymore because now they call themselves conservative by changing the name of it. And you start saying now, well, Dr. Anderson, how about the Democratic Party, Republican Party? They're all in that. Yes. But no political party ever did any one single solid thing for black folk in America. They rush out and tell you to join the Democratic Party. I headed up the Democratic Party. I was appointed to Assistant Secretary of the United States Department of Commerce as the first black. I was also the only black in the history of this nation ever sat as a chairman for economic development for governors. I'm the only black that's ever been over the entire state education system. That's everything from the first grade to the universities in both the private sector and the public sector. But I'm telling you, the Democratic Party has never done one single solitary thing to help black folk in this country. But guess what? And the first group that enslaved you were Democrats. They kept you enslaved for 360 years. And after 360 years, up jumped the Republicans. They took care of you for about 10 years, what we call the Reconstruction period. They tried to help you by instituting two things. One was the Emancipation Proclamation. The second thing was the 13th Amendment. The 14th Amendment, the 15th Amendment, and two civil rights laws. But your leadership gave those away, making it very difficult for you people to be able to fight. Your civil rights leaders sold you out by letting them corrupt the civil rights laws. Those civil rights laws, the 13th Amendment, 14th Amendment, were strictly and solely for black folk. It wasn't written for gays, midgets, humpback, women, people with one eyes, hemorrhoids, ingrown toenails. It was written for black folk. But they diluted it. Because after the Civil War was over, they wanted to enslave black folk again in the South. And that's how they got you back by diluting the 13th Amendment, the 14th Amendment, and civil rights laws, pretend that they were for everybody. And once they did that, it was easy for you to be re-enslaved through semi-Jim Crow segregation for another 100 years. It's going to be tough for you now. But you got those kind of oppositions going. And the terrorists in America right now are still the southern states. The southern states you see on that map every time you vote in politics. And it says the red states, that's the same South that started the Civil War. When they say the South will rise again, that's what the whole conflict's about now between NBC and the Fox channel. They fight between conservatives and liberals. But neither one has ever done anything for you. The Republicans did it for 10 years, 1866, 1875. They tried to help you. And yet, and I've never in all my experiences even though I was a campaign chairman for Jimmy Carter in the South and in Florida. And I was also the deputy political strategist in Maryland for Bill Clinton to be president of the United States. But not one president in the United States have ever done anything for you all. They've never done anything. Nobody wants to do anything for black folk because you're an underclass. You all got to go out and fight that and stand up tall and strong and say, I am somebody special. And don't call themselves no minorities and poor folk and people of color and all those kind of broad, ambiguous terms. You can stand up and say, I am black, a native black in this country. I am an exceptional person. I was here before everybody else arrived. I and my relatives, my ancestors, we were the engines that drove economic development across this nation. We were the people that built the highways, the roads, the buildings, picked the cotton, the rice, and indigo, and tobacco. You all are special. This nation owes you. They need to learn how to respect you, appreciate you, and reparate you. You stand up tall and go after it, and you be as black as you want to be. Don't you ever bow your head and say anything other than I am a native black. I'm the exception, and I'm the only people in this country, whose race has never fought this country. The only group in this country who's fought with the United States government from the beginning until the present time are black people. Every other group in this country you can name, their country has fought against the United States. I can go around the world, and I can show you which countries fought against it. When I was in Korea, I was a pilot in the Marine Air Corps. I am still a pilot, but I don't fly anymore. We learned in Korea, you're going to be fighting Korea. China, we fought Chinese, we fought Japanese, we fought Koreans, South Koreans, we fought Filipinos, we fought Puerto Ricans, we fought Cubans, we fought Mexicans, we fought French, we fought Germans. We fought everybody on earth, but you never fought black folk. You are all the most patriotic people in this country. You stand tall and say, I'm the most patriotic. My blackness is special, and I'm gifted and talented with my blackness. I'm going to hold my head high, as Dr. Anderson told me. I'll take on anybody because that's my badge, that's my honor, that's my exceptionality, and that is this nation's indebtedness. They owe me because of my blackness. I love you all, and thank you for inviting me.
Thank you very much, Dr. Anderson. He flew in just to speak to you all today. And now we're going to
kind of dial back and tell you a little bit about myself and how I identify with you guys. I'm actually from Albany, Georgia. If anybody knows where Albany, Georgia is. All right. So you guys know what it's like down there. And proud of you for making it up and getting out of that situation. I grew up in a small town where violence was prevalent, education system was weak. A lot of people just basically had, normal 9-to-5s at fast food restaurants, working at factories, etc. And as you've seen over time, the factories are starting to close. Hence, people start moving away, especially my generation. I identify with you guys as well because not only did I move out of Albany and make it to Atlanta, I am too a graduate of Omnitech Institute. I graduated around 2004, and many of you are probably saying to yourself, all right, this next step, what am I going to do with it? How am I going to get to the end goal, which is now getting your jobs and moving on in your career? I was the same way. I will tell you today that I'm actually a network architect for a Fortune 200 company. I've looked up to Mr. Lester. Dr. Anderson doesn't know me, but I know him very well. I listen to the same things that you guys have listened to. I am truly one of the success stories of Omnitech, and I feel obligated and glad to come back and share my experiences and stories with you guys. I actually graduated in 2004, and one of the things Mr. Lester always preached was continue your education. The journey doesn't stop now. I am happy that you guys persevered, made it through, graduated. Now the journey is just starting. You guys now have to go out and you have to actually replace me. You guys are going to be the next success stories. You guys are going to set the mark for the next class and the class after that. So congratulations to you guys. One of the things I also want you guys to keep your minds on is not just working for someone. You guys need to aspire and want to do better. Also, achieve and attempt to get your own businesses so that you can open doors for others. So working for someone is one thing, but also working for yourself is even better. You get to do the things that you want to do in life and not have to actually clock in and clock out every day. So I want you guys to keep that in mind. Graduates, this is your day. You set a goal and you achieved it. Many people, many outside folks in your lives probably try to hinder you from obtaining your degree in graduating. You guys persevere. That is remarkable. Because one of the things that I always tell the students when I come back and talk is that Mr. Lester has never steered me wrong in terms of preparation, doing what you need to do. If you're in the IT program, your certification, if you're in the music program, making sure you intern, be on time, doing the things that you need to do to be successful. I've never seen a student not be successful by doing the things that the faculty and staff told them. And that still holds true today. So, this wasn't luck. You guys earned it. I want to talk a little bit less about myself and more about your journey. You guys earned it. I know it was some tough times. I know you guys were wavering a little bit. Am I going to get this done? But I want you guys to pat yourselves on the back because that is amazing. That's truly amazing. Graduates, the folks in the crowd, they all protected you, they directed you, and they also made sure they corrected you. And so hands for the folks in the crowd that actually helped these folks graduate. So the next thing I want to talk about real quick is don't be afraid of failure. I know particularly in the IT program, a lot of students, get the opportunity to take exams, do different things. They're just scared to fail. I've taken about at least 50 exams, and I probably hold 15 certifications. I probably failed 20 exams. No one cares about how many times I failed. They only care about the actual certification. Don't be afraid to fail. And you guys are early in your life and in your careers. Fail big. Chase your dreams. Fail big. Failure is just an opportunity for you to get better. Not an opportunity for you to kick yourselves, put yourself down. You have a goal you're trying to reach. It doesn't matter how many times you take it. Make sure and then you dictate what failure is. Failure is not what someone else tells you. You dictate what that is. And then you will persevere and you will eventually achieve your goal. So don't let anyone tell you that you failed. Failure is just an opportunity. And like I said, don't be afraid to do it. I've taken many of exams. I am extremely successful now, and I'm able to provide and help my family and everything. And that was really my driving, my motivator. So whatever motivated you to get to where you are today, you're gonna have to keep tapping into that to get to where you're gonna be tomorrow. Continue pushing the envelope. I wrote some notes down here, I'm sorry. All right, take chances. You need to also financially educate yourself. You guys came in and you learned your curriculum, whether it was music, the nursing program, the IT program. Your education doesn't stop. It's just starting. Continue to educate yourself. Take chances. What I mean by that is, don't be afraid to look over the ledge. I'm not saying jump off the ledge. Look over the ledge. Take calculated risks to chase your dreams. Because ultimately, you define what your dreams are. You have to chase it. Don't worry about missing out or failing. Remember the word failure. You dictate what failure is. We're in the digital age. Very early in the digital age. I've been doing IT for 15 years, and it's starting to change just a little bit, but we're so early in it. You guys have more opportunity than any other class of individual people ever in history. You can learn anything. You can fix your car. You can paint your house. You can fix your roof. Just go to YouTube. You guys, there's no excuses at this point. You can learn to do anything that you want to do. So again, we're in a digital age. Start to use the technologies. Don't run from it. Use the technologies. Lastly, like I said, continue to educate yourself. I don't care if it's in the discipline that you guys have mastered so far. Educate yourself in other areas. Financial education is what's going to take you over the top. Financial education is everything, because if you start to make all this money, what are you going to do with it? Okay, you need to start investing. You need to start to learn about what Bitcoin is and some of the other things. You need to make sure you understand when the next Amazon starts. Get some of that stock. When the next Walmart starts, get some of that stock. Financial education should be your next step, aside from what you actually learn from the school. That means everything. Celebrate this day. Celebrate this day. Give yourself a round of applause. And I'll leave it at this. Your journey is just beginning. I'm done.
Staff by Miss Mary Vickers. Andrea Booker. Lennis Diaz. This is the shy group, y'all. Destiny Bonner. Round of applause. Graduates, please stand. Miriam Holsey. Iris Ortiz. Naquan Dawson. Lennis Diaz. Shaquandria Harris Freeman. Imani Henry.
Alright, video.
Jessica McCray.
Alright.
Ashley Henry. Quantavious Q. Pearson.
Video.
Let's go. Let's go.
Video. Alright, yep.
Let's give every one of our graduates a round of applause.
Yeah.
I
When? I got you.
pulled up on your break.
Okay, okay. Yeah, for sure.